Hi all, we're back for the second part of supplementary and complementary angles. So right now we're going to talk about supplementary angles, and the definition says if the sum of the measure of two angles, again we're talking about two angles, okay, is 180 degrees, then the sum of the angles are supplementary. If the two angles form a straight line, then they are supplementary. So if the angles form a line, they are also supplementary, and we're going to talk about that too. So we have of course, we have some examples again, just like before. So if I have, we're talking about this example right here. So one measures 85 degrees and the other measures 95 degrees. And if I add them together, again, it says sum, so I'm going to be adding or subtracting. So I add those together, I get 10, 8, 9, 180 degrees. So these are supplementary. Supplementary. Okay, so again, the second part of the definition up here, I just want to talk about, it says if the two angles form a straight line. So look at this. This is a straight line, and I have an angle here, a line shooting off of it, and I have an angle here and an angle here, and they form a straight line. And how do I know they form a straight line? Well, one angle is 70 degrees and one angle is 110 degrees, and that adds up to be 180 degrees. So they're supplementary. Let me write that down right quick. Supplementary. I'm running out of room. Sorry. Supplementary. Another name for this, because we're going to define this again on the next lesson. But another name for this, just so you guys know, is called a linear pair, because they form a line. It's two angles, a pair, that form a straight line, linear pair. Just be aware that that is another name that you can use for this, and they are supplementary, which means they add up to 180 degrees. So non-examples, let's go to the two non-examples I have for you. And how do I know if they're non-examples? That's the question, right? How do I know? Well, I have two angles here. How do I know? I'm just going to add them together. So I have 30 degrees plus 120 degrees. Well, that equals 150 degrees, so not supplementary. How do I know they're not supplementary? Because they don't add to be supplementary. Sorry, I have to spell the word before I keep talking. Because they don't add to be 180 degrees. That's why. In order for them to be supplementary, they have to add to be 180 degrees. Okay, so the other non-example is, yes, it forms a line, right? But how many angles is there? There's three. I have three angles, 60 degrees, 50 degrees, and 70 degrees, and yes, it forms a 180 degree line, but it takes three of them, again, not two, three. So supplementary is defined by two angles that form a 180 degree line. So by themselves, these two do not, or these two do not, so it's not supplementary. I'm pretty sure he's just spelled that one wrong. Okay, so not supplementary. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next little section. And again, it's kind of like the last one. It just says determine if they're supplementary or not. So how do we determine if they're supplementary or not? We add the two angles together and see if they form if they add to be 180 degrees. So I'm going to take 118 and I'm going to add it with 62. And I'm going to see what I get. 8 plus 2 is 10. 6, 7, 8, 180 degrees. Yes, these are supplementary. Okay, supplementary. And then we're going to do it for the next one. We're just going to do the same thing. So I've got 23 degrees and 147 degrees. So that's 10, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 170 degrees. So this is not supplementary. Okay, and then the last one, well, what do we know that this means? And this means that means that they're 90 degrees. So I've got 90 degree and 90 degree, which equals 180 degrees. So this is supplementary. Supplementary. Okay, supplementary. Okay, so that's how I tell. How do I tell if two angles are supplementary? They have to add up to be 180 degrees. Awesome. So here we go. Well, on to the next section. It's just very similar to the section on complementary. We're going to do pretty much the same thing, only our angles are going to look a little different. Instead of right angles, they're going to look like a line. So the next section says one angle of a pair of supplementary angles, so it says it's supplementary right here, so it adds to 180, is given. What is the measure of another angle? So how do I find that out? It says it's supplementary, so it says it adds to be 180. So I'm going to take 180 and I'm going to subtract my the angle they give me, 173. So 180 degrees minus 173 degrees equals 7 degrees. Okay, and then same thing, so 180 degrees minus 75 degrees should be 105 degrees, I believe. 180 minus 75 is, yep, 105 degrees. And then 180 degrees minus 92 degrees should be 88 degrees. 180 degrees minus 92 degrees, yep, 88 degrees. Okay, and that's how we do it. Just instead of subtracting from 90, which is complementary, we're subtracting from 180, which is supplementary. So now we're going to do it from the picture. Same thing, solve for x. So I'm going to make my screen a little bigger so it's a little easier to see. So here we go. I have two angles that are supplementary, so they add up to be, or they make a line. So I know since they make a line, they add up to be 180 degrees. So x plus 85 equals 180. So they don't equal each other, they equal 180. I want to stress the difference between them. When I add those two together, they equal 180. So I'm going to subtract 85. So x is going to equal 95, I believe. Yep, 95. And again, because this is x by itself, that's just what my angle is 95 degrees. Unlike my next problem, when I solve for x, I won't know what the angle is, but I'm still going to do it the same way. I have 28x plus 8x equals 180. So 28 plus 8, 36, I think. 36x equals 180. And then what am I going to do? Right, divide by 36. Good job. So 180 divided by 36 is 5. So x equals 5. And if I wanted to find out what the angles measure, I'm just going to take that 5 and substitute it in, right? Just like I did last time. I don't need to this time because it didn't say find out what the angle measures. It just said solve for x. But I could take this x and substitute it in. This would be 8 times 5, which is 40. So this angle would be 40 degrees. And this would be 28 times 5. Let's see, 28 times 5 should be 140. So this angle should be 140 degrees. Okay? And that's how we find out what the angle measures. So we're going on to the next equation. Same thing, forms a line. I don't need any symbol to tell me that it forms a line. We know what a line looks like. So this angle plus this angle equals 1. I'm so sorry. This angle plus this angle equals 180. So I have 7x minus 4 plus 9x minus 8 equals 180. So now I'm going to combine my like terms together. So 7x plus 9x, let me just go ahead and highlight that. 7x, my like term, 7x plus 9x is 16x. And then I have my other two like terms. They're on the same side of the equal sign, so I don't change their sign. Negative 8 minus negative 4 is negative 12 equals 180. I only change the sign if I'm moving them to the other side of the equal sign. So I'm going to add 12 to get it to the other side of the equal sign. And I get 16x equals 192. Divide by 16. And x is going to equal 192 divided by 16, 12. So x equals 12. Nice job. Okay, we have a couple more problems. Oof. We're going to do the same thing. So I've got 6x plus 4x minus 10 equals 180. So my like terms are 6x and 4x. I don't change the sign. They're on the same side of the equal sign, so they're like terms. So 6x plus 4x is 10x. Minus 10 equals 180. Add 10. And I get 10x equals 190. Divide by 10. So x equals 19. Good job, you guys. And for the last problem, we've got a straight line again. So I've got 4x minus 10 plus 5x minus 17 equals 180. So I got my like terms. I've got the 4x and the 5x. And I've got the negative 10x and the negative 17. So I'm just going to add those together. I'm not going to change the signs. I'm just going to combine them together. So 4x plus 5x is 9x. And negative 10 minus 17 is negative 27 equals 180. And then I'm going to add 27 to get it to the other side of the equal sign. So 9x equals 207 divided by 9. X is going to equal, let's see, 23. I think I'm going to go with 23, but I don't know. Let's see, 207 divided by 9. 23, yes, equals 23. Okay. I am going to say this, it doesn't happen very rarely, but you can get x to be a negative number, and then when you plug it in here, it does work. So don't be worried if you get a negative number, because you can get the right answer. So I just want you to be aware of that fact, okay? The next thing is you just have a few problems to work on in Nearpod, and then you're going to have some work in Delta Math along the same lines, not very many in Delta Math, but that way you'll know if you're getting them right or wrong. That's why we like doing Delta Math. And then we'll see you on the next lesson, which is angle pairs. It's mostly just definitions, so we will see you in a little bit. Bye, guys.